Okay, class, this is the last of 3 videos on writing equations for a parabola. In this video, we're going to learn how to use systems of equations to write the equation for a parabola given 3 points. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time on these 3 points. You notice that we did not say that any of these points was the vertex. Please don't make any assumptions when you're doing these problems. If we don't tell you it was the vertex or the maximum or the minimum, then don't assume that. Also, we did not give you any x-intercepts. You know that because x-intercepts would have a y value of 0. So, but given any 3 points, we can use this method. So here's how we're going to start. First, we're going to use the standard version. And you'll notice that I wrote it with the y on the other side of the equation. You'll see the reason for that in a minute, but it doesn't really change the meaning or the substance of this equation at all. So here, how do we start? Well, we're going to start by plugging in our 3 points. So we're going to plug in the point 3 and 15. Everywhere we see x, we're going to put 3, and everywhere we see y, we're going to put 15, and a, b, and c remain unknown. In fact, that's what we're going to find. We're going to plug in our second point and our third point, and it looks like this. I hope the color coding helps you. So now that you've had a chance to copy that down and take a good look, we're going to do the math and write this as a system of equations. So 3 squared here is 9, so we end up with 9a plus 3b plus c is equal to 15. Then we have 0 times a, so that ends up being 0, and b times 0, that's 0, plus c is equal to 12. And last, this ends up being 4, negative 2, and 20, so we end up with that third equation. Now this is a system of equations that we can write and solve with a matrix. Now I did that, and I used my calculator to give me the answer to this matrix. And it turns out that a is 1, b is negative 2, and c is 12. And since I made this problem up, I happen to know that those are the right answers. And so I'm going to box that in, and I am done. So just to review, if I'm given 3 points, any 3 points, I can plug them in to the x's and y's, create a system of equations, and then use matrices and my calculator to solve. Now, if you're at home trying to do this homework, don't forget that I did post an online matrix calculator that you can use to solve this kind of system on Google Classroom. Let's look at one more example before we wrap this up. In this problem, we have 3 different points. We got to write a parabola that contains these points. Now let me point out that you can only write the equation of a parabola with a minimum of 3 points. You need at least 3 points. You can have more, but you need at least 3. So in this case, we meet the minimum number of points we need. We're going to plug those points in, just like we did on the first example. We're going to do the math and create our nice little system of equations. And then we're not scared of a system of equations like this, because now we know how to create a matrix and solve it with our calculator, get the values for a, b, and c, and use those to generate our final answer. If you have any questions on how to do this, or you're confused, feel free to flex in or take your notes to another math teacher or come to tutorials. Don't stay confused. I'll see you in the next class. Peace out, people.